If you answered more than 5 team questions this week, then you are working for your employees instead of the other way around. The solution isn't just better delegation. It's one major shift that makes your team finally think for themselves. I'm Abby Johnson, and I've helped businesses in over 50 different industries break this cycle and add 5 to 6 figures in profit. Most owners don't really understand what dependency is costing them in profit and time. One of the reasons these interruptions are so costly is due to something called context switching. This is where you have to actually reframe your mind in terms of what you are working on. So let's say you're in the middle of a spreadsheet and you're looking at numbers and you're trying to make financial decisions, and then someone comes and asks you questions about an estimate. Now you have to stop looking at those current numbers, talk about different numbers that are completely disrelated, or talk about a subject that is completely disrelated. It then takes time for your mind to get back on task and for you to reframe and readjust to data that you were already looking at. This is context switching. There was a study done by Gallup, and it said that due to the lost productivity from context switching, business owners across the US alone were losing $450 billion. Now, obviously that's combined, but let's look at this for your situation or for one small business. I had a client come to me this year. She was making around $500,000 a year in revenue, but she was working 7 days a week. And when I went through with her why she was working 7 days a week, we finally were able to take tasks off her plate that she felt like she just couldn't let go of. After working together for 6 months, she's now working 5, sometimes a little bit 6 days a week. We ended up saving her 2 days a week, 8+ days a month. She's now going on a 2-week vacation for the first time in who knows how long, all because everything was dependent on her. Not only were there specific tasks that she needed to offload, but she also had to offload actual decision making to someone else so that they could decide and manage certain areas of the business. My team has openings on their calendar right now for our free profit assessments, where we will show you exactly how much that dependency is costing you every single month. Most owners are shocked when they see their numbers. Check out the link below and book your call today. So how do we actually put this into practice? How do we achieve that? The shift is you have to have your employees start to think for themselves, and you need to train them in a way that helps them think for themselves and set them up for success. What happens is when people are training someone, most people think of training as just tasks and teaching someone how to do every step of a process. But the problem is most people leave out the end result and the actual purpose behind those tasks. So start thinking about this with the different roles in your business. What is the actual end result you want from them? If you have someone answering the phone, yes, they answer the phone. Hi, this is ABC company. Who do you need to speak to? They route a call, whatever it may be. But the end result is that they have correctly routed that call. They have kept the person on the phone. They have gotten the correct information needed. Maybe the end result for your specific business is that they now have all of their information in a CRM so that you can reach out to this lead or reconnect with this lead if they drop off. You have to look for your business. What is the full quality end result? And then the how of getting there can be flexible. All I care about is that end result. And really, there's a 3-step formula for when you're training someone. That first step is having them understand that end result, its importance, its purpose. And the next step of that formula is having a clear deadline. I was helping a client one time, and I was helping him implement Asana for task management and delegating tasks. It's very important with softwares like this that you assign actual deadline dates in these softwares, because then it will notify someone. It tells someone when they need to have something done. And as we were going through Asana, he was like, yeah, I'll just put all of these tasks at the end of the month. And I was like, okay, but when they're going to do them then? If you tell someone they have a month to do something, they're probably going to do it on the 30th or the 31st. And he was like, oh, I'm not worried about it. I just want it done. Well, the next month he came back to me and said, I realized by putting it at the end of the month that they were getting it done at the end of the month. So you have to give someone a clear deadline as to how long something should take. Now we come to step number 3 in this 3-step formula. And the biggest thing I hear when it comes to delegating is no one can do it as well as I do, right? You want to make sure that these end results, these tasks, these responsibilities you are giving are upheld to your your standards, that they are in line with your company values and done to a quality that you want. And the way you achieve this is by having company policy in place. This is going to help make sure that your employees are executing how you want them to within line with your values, but also give them a decision-making framework so that they aren't coming to you with decisions all the time. So let's look at a couple examples of this. Let's say your company policy is the customer is always right. Now, I don't agree with this policy, but I'm going to use it for example's sake. Let's say you own a retail shop and someone brings something to the front and they say, hey, this is damaged, so I want it for 50% off. Or you damaged this item, so I'm getting it at a discount, or whatever it may be. And if the policy is that the customer is always right and that you did in fact damage it, or someone in your store in fact damaged it, then okay, they get the discount and they can walk out the door. And that's fine. That's why I don't agree with that policy. But if that's a policy, then the person at the front counter knows how to handle that person when they come to them. Now, let's say on the other hand, your company policy was for any damaged items, you can give a 10% discount. And that is the policy. There's no question now. If someone comes to the counter and says, hey, this item is damaged, I think I should get it for half off. Your employee doesn't have to come call you up. Hey, Mr. Boss, this person wants this for 50% off. What do you want me to do? They already know the policy is in place that it's 10% off. We've all gotten frustrated with big corporations and their company policies, but there's a reason they are in place. They're there to safeguard the business, whether that's financially, whether that's through their values, or whatever it may be. And so if you're training someone, you have these 3 factors, you give them the exact specific result they should be getting, a clear deadline or timeline of how long it should take them to get it, and you have company policies guiding their decision making and quality. This is how you make independent employees. So how do we go about implementing this with existing employees? When you have a new employee come in, it's fine because it's new to them, it's new to you, and it doesn't matter. But if you have existing employees, it can be tough to change the environment and change what they've been used to for years sometimes. So the key for introducing new systems is to just keep redirecting. If someone is used to coming to you all the time with questions, you start answering those questions differently. Here are the 2 ways I like to do this. So it's 2 specific questions. So someone comes to you and says, boss, what do you want me to do about XYZ? Now, if you've been working with this person for a long time, they already know what you're going to say. They have worked with you long enough that they know what your answer is going to be. And you could say, what do you think I'm going to say? And then they say, well, you're going to say to give them a 10% discount because that's what you always say, right? They're going to learn that. Now, the other way, if it's maybe not something quite as black and white or something like that, is you can flip it on them and say, what would you do in this situation? And they might say, well, I think we should give them a discount, or I think we should give them a refund, or whatever. And if their answer is correct or you agree with their answer, then that's great. You can say that, you can validate them, it builds up their confidence. And then if it's not right, then this is a teaching moment and you can say, well, I think we should do XYZ because of these reasons. Most people cave and just get in there and do it themselves, or keep answering the question to make sure it gets done the way they want it to, or it's just easier if I do it myself. So it takes time to train someone, but the time freedom on the end of that is worth it. You are investing your time to get your time back after you have finished training someone. At some point after doing this exercise, they're going to stop coming to you all the time. I had a client once where he had a manager for 25 people out in the field, and he had that manager, but they would still come to him for little problems. They would say, hey, can you fix my hours? I clocked out wrong. Or, hey, I've got a problem with Susie over there and she did this, this, and this, or whatever it may be. So what he started doing, what I had him do, was say, hey, got it, go to the manager, because the manager should be the one handling those issues, fixing their timesheets, etc. After a few times of telling them to go to their manager, they finally stopped messaging him and they got the message that they needed to actually go to their manager instead of trying to go above her head. So what I want you to do is go look at the different roles in your business and see how you can start applying this. Maybe just start with your right-hand person. This doesn't need to roll out to everyone at once, but you have to start implementing this. You have to put in a little bit of time if you want to end up getting your time back. If you're tired of being the only person keeping your business running, this is exactly what we address in our free profit assessment. We'll We'll show you where your team is stuck, where clarity is breaking down, and how to finally build a business that doesn't depend on you. Click below to book your free profit assessment today. I'll see you in the next video.